This is a road trip from Dieprivier in the peninsula, southern peninsula, to Kloof Hill near Durbanville. This is coming up Dieprivier Bridge on Duval Drive. On the left is Dieprivier Station, and we're coming up to the main road where if you turn left you go to Muizenberg, Cork Bay, Fischhoek, Simonstown. To the right you go to Wynberg, Rondebosch and Cape Town. There's a park on the left, and many years ago I was in a massive car accident and the car was hit and I went into that white wall on the left and skidded down the road. Okay, now we're coming up to a roundabout. In front, on the left and right, is Meadow-Ridge. It's a very leafy suburb, beautiful. And the mountains in front is the Steenberg mountain range, running from Newlands down past Muizenberg, Cork Bay, Fischhoek. There was load shedding on this day, so the traffic lights are all out of order. But luckily the traffic wasn't too heavy. This is still Meadow-Ridge on the left and the right. Now on the right, on that mountain, there was a big mountain fire just above Kirstenbosch, but you'll see it later on in the video. Okay, that's the first traffic light, and the second one is coming up. Now if you turn left here, you go on the M3, the Blue Route freeway, and that goes down to Steenberg. And if you turn right at the end of Steenberg, you go over Oudtshoornweg. And coming up in front, if you turn right, you go on the M3 freeway. Okay, we're coming up to the freeway now, and on the left coming up is a sports complex, and if you turn left you go to Hout Bay, and if you turn at the T-junction, if you turn right you go down to Wynberg Main Road. The sports club's right on the left here, and there's the turn off. On the left there's a sports club. Also on the left, it's part of Constantia. There's the fire in the distance on the mountain. Now there's vineyards just past these pine trees. Now there used to be a lot of pine trees going up this road, but they were removed because they went indigenous. You can see the pine trees on the right, but there used to be a whole row of trees. Now this is Weinberg Hill. If you hit this area between probably 6 and 8 in the mornings, it's bumper to bumper traffic. Now on the left coming up and right is Weinberg Park. Very beautiful park. You can take walks there. In years ago one could braai there. I'm not sure if it can still be done. Okay, now we're coming up to Bishop's Court, and Weinberg's on the right, and this is where all the embassies are. If you go turn left at the next traffic light, the embassies are all up in that road, but the first embassy around the bend is the British Embassy, and opposite the Polish Embassy. Where this wall starts coming up, this white wall and red face brick, that's the British Embassy. And then you'll see the Polish flags. Now this is where the traffic was quite hectic. There's the Polish Embassy. The traffic was quite hectic because there's 3 or 4 traffic lights that just bottles up any time of the day. At the bottom of the hill you'll see the traffic. It's on the left, yeah. And they used to have helicopters, Sikorsky's and Russian helicopters stationed there for mountain fires all over the peninsula. To the right is Newlands. This is Newlands Forest on the left. Now this is still on the M3, which eventually leads up to Cape Town, the foreshore and the top end to Gardens. And then to the right you go to the National Road 2, which we say N2. Also, you can, in front here, you turn left down to Princess Anne Drive, which goes down to Rondebosch. And on the right, coming up on the right hand side, is the old Grote Skier, which is now Genadendal. That's the state president's residence when he's in Cape Town for Parliament. That's on the right. And then on the left used to be an old zoo, which was part of the University of Cape Town. That there where those face bricks are on the left, just above that used to be cages with lions and all various animals. Then in front here, if you turn left, you go to the University of Cape Town, where all these cars are parked. There's two entrances, this one and the next one. This in front on the left by the trees is the sports field, where they normally play varsity cup rugby. Normally in the evenings they got spotlights. Now if you look to the right, that you'll see the whole of the peninsula right down to Gordons Bay and to Tygerberg. Okay, coming up there where that blue sign is, that's where you can also go down to Dieprivier. Not Dieprivier, to Rondebosch. That's the road going to UCT. And on the right is Morsted's Mill, that white building on the right, which was severely damaged about 2-3 years ago when there were fires. So it was completely restored and in working condition. There's a bit of a traffic hold up here because this is where the road splits in front. To the left you go to Foreshore and to the Gardens, and to the right is Grote Ski Hospital and the N2. On the left also, it's a national park, part of Sand Park, where they got zebra and wild buck. They sometimes come down to that fence. That big building in the distance is Grote Ski Hospital, apparently built in the 1920s. First heart transplant in 1968 or 69. And this is where it gets a bit tricky, because there's a hairpin bend which is quite sharp. Which leads into the N2, which in the afternoons you got to be very, very careful. That's why you got to choose your lane very quickly. That is Devil's Peak. Now this is where about 3 or 4 lanes meets into also 4 lanes, but you got to choose which road you're going to take very early. Now this road, the N2, eventually leads to the Cape Town International Airport and down to Gordons Bay, straight Somerset West, and then over Solaris Pass. That's why you have to keep on the left here if you're going to the M5. On the left here, if you turn left, you go to Lesbic Park Sports Field, I think it is. It's a hockey complex. And this is the Lesbic River we going over. The Riverside Club is on the left with a conference center and a hotel, and the old observatory, which I think is still in working order. Now yeah, if you're going to go the M5, you've got to keep to the left because you've got to blend into this left lane. Now the sign says N1 Milnerton, that area. Now in the mornings, this road we're coming into is blocked with traffic, hectic. On the left is a asylum. This is about 11:30, quarter to 12, so the traffic is still okay. That big building in the distance is Amazon's new head office. That's Barclay Road, that goes down to Nabini and Gunner Circle, industrial area, and Pinelands. That building there on the left is Amazon. Not sure if it's finished yet. And yeah, you also got to start choosing lanes. Just past this, that's Barclay Road. Because here the road splits into three. The one on the right goes to Coburg Road, and the one on the left goes to the N1. There's a container assembly area or storage area. Now to the left is the city center. And this is where you're going to keep to the left, or you can stay on the right lane, but it all bottlenecks up at the top. There's the containers. In front the road splits to Maitland Coburg Road. You can also take a shortcut and back on the N1 if you want to. But this is where the traffic, doesn't matter what time of the day, it bottles up. But then after this bottleneck, it's free flowing. There, that mountain or hills in the distance is Tygerberg. It's a nature reserve, and it's also communications towers are situated on top of the hill. And also on the left is the Salt River. No, it doesn't matter what time of the day you come into this area, there's always a bottleneck. This road was completed in 2010 for the World Cup. Now once you go past these few cars, then it's free flowing. Those block of flats in the distance in the middle is Air Force accommodation, because there's Eysterplaat, which is the Air Force base just past that. And many years ago, when we used to fly to Namibia, when we did 3-month army camps, we used to fly from that Air Force base. On the left there's a small industrial area that sells audio vision, tiles, all that. Now here you also, if you want to go to Century City, you got to stay where those cars on the left is coming in. You got to stay in that lane, because that lane also goes to the N7, which eventually goes up to Springbok, Namibia. The Air Force base is now on the left, just past these houses. There's the base on the left. And this is where the road splits in front. You have to stay in the left lane if you want to go to Century City. Or to Coburg Road. It's another route to Coburg Road, which goes to Milnerton up the west coast. Those big buildings there, that's Century City Shopping Centre. There is like a nature reserve around it with a river where a lot of people go bird watching. And there's a train, little electric train that runs around the complex. Many years ago, this stretch of road was used for night ride speeding, where guys used to speed to see how quickly they can go in competitions, but after a massive accident that was cancelled. The police stopped that. And that road there on the other side, that white car here, that's to the N7. There, that road going up goes to the shopping area. The road at the bottom goes to the N7. In front on the left is Vodacom's head office, which was also damaged a few years back by a fire, but that's been repaired. There's the board showing the N7. Now in front the road makes a turning to the right, also quite a big interchange. Of course, traffic from the N7 bleeds in to the N1. That's Tygerberg in the distance, and Plattekloof, a suburb, is just below it. The Goodwood prison is on the left, and on the right you've got the Parliamentarian village and a military base called Fort Ikapa that we knew in the day it was just called Wingfield. Those hangars on the right is all military storage areas. That's Eskom's electrical setup. There's the watchtower on the left for the prison, and then the road goes to the left. On the right is N1 City, another big shopping center, and DSTV's there, and just around the corner it's a long stretch up to Plattekloof Hills that eventually goes to Paarl on the N1. That's the end of my trip, and I hope you enjoyed it.